Frank and I are getting ready for a hot, humid day at Canada Lakes Golf and Country Club. But we're doing it for the kids.
Yes, we are. Camp Trillium raises money for kids.
Love this charity.
We love many charities, obviously. I mean, we'd love to partake in every single charity in the city, but you know, you pick and choose some of them, and this is one that's near and dear to most of our people's hearts.
You've been there for years, and as have I, and we look forward to it every year. It's a fantastic event. Okay, so I'm trying to buy a home, but my credit's not the best.
Yeah, the credit, I mean, we've been talking about it for years, and more important now is the credit. I mean, I had one last week where the customer chose, and I just got an email yesterday saying, okay, Frank, I'm going to approve it for you as an exception. And I'm thinking, that's an exception? Holy cow. Basically what happened in this case is the guy likes to pay cash for everything. He doesn't have any credit set up. So about 8 months ago, he went out and finally got himself a little $500 credit card just so that he can have some credit. And believe it or not, with 30% down, it was hard to get him approved because he has
with 30% down cash?
No credit history. That's or limited. Now they call it limited. It's
because he liked to pay cash for everything.
Because he did cash. Again, a gentleman in his 30s and just got brought up in a fashion of, you know, and the questions that I got from the lender, like, you sure he wasn't bankrupt before? No, he wasn't bankrupt. He just chose to go cash. And it's easy in today's world because now we have debit cards. It's not like, you know, the old days where we had to write checks and show ID. Today you have debit cards. You can actually get away with going cash, with the exception of if you're booking a hotel. I mean, that's where the credit cards come in.
You need credit cards
today,
to do certain things.
But even at that now, you can buy the prepaid credit cards. So it's important to have credit, and if you have credit, it's important to keep it very, very good because never mind the limited credit, what'll get you more trouble is any problems. And what we see a lot of is some minors we can get away with, some minor payments missed, but if you get into collections, and if you get into, and the other thing I want to talk about is I've been getting more calls about proposals than anything else. What if I go into proposal? The counselor is telling me that if I go into proposal within 2 years, I should be okay. The truth is that if you're in proposal, it will be very difficult for you to get a mortgage approved. It'll be next to impossible to get it approved if you have less than 20% down, if you're in proposal. Like, it's just not going to happen. But if you have more than 20% down, you may get approved on the condition that you pay off the proposal. And at that point, you know, of course, the question is, if you're in proposal, how would you have 20% down? I mean, the two just don't go together. So you wouldn't have the 20% down. So proposal, the thing that's interesting about going into proposal, so, you know, some people look at it and say, well, that's noble that you go into proposal as opposed to bankruptcy, because at least you're paying 50 cents, 60 cents, 70 cents on the dollar, and at least you're saying I'm in trouble, but I'm paying a portion of it back. The problem is the proposal sometimes takes longer to get out of than a bankruptcy. A bankruptcy is a clean break. Everything gets written off, and then within 2 years, 2.5 years, you get discharged, and then at that point you can start reestablishing your credit. On a proposal, if you sign up for a 3 or 4 year proposal, you got to pay it for the 3 or 4 years, which you can't qualify for any mortgage, and then you got to go through your discharge and reestablishing credit in that period as well. So, so sometimes it takes longer if you're in proposal. So just be very careful. If you're doing that, just know that you cannot probably buy a property because it's going to be difficult to get mortgage financing.
You saw the numbers from Royal LePage out that the average price of housing is up a little bit. And I noticed also, I was reading in the paper this morning, that the number of permits and housing starts is up as well.
Yeah, you know what I mean? The interest rates have gone up, unfortunately, over the last month, and that I hope that doesn't have too much of a bad effect on the market moving forward. But you know, the houses in Ottawa, I mean, we've said it for years, Ottawa's a fairly conservative town anyway when it comes to real estate. We don't see the big roller coaster rides. I mean, you know, I think this year's expected to be a pretty flat year. The sales, what's interesting about the sales is the fact that, you know, I think that last year, the first half of the year was very aggressive because the rule changes were happening.
Right.
So the second half was very light last year. It'll be interesting to see if the opposite happens this year, because a lot of real estate agents think the second half will be much better.
Well, I'll tell you what, Frank, and you know it too, man. Have a look around. You can see new housing starts, new developments going up like crazy in this town. Go out to South Canada.
Well, Scotiabank Place. I live right by Scotiabank Place, and Mattamy just developing all the land out there. So
and further south.
Yeah.
It's not, and that's just in the
South
west
and
end.
North. Mortgage Grant, same thing. Right. It's incredible. So,
no lack of that going on, which is good news.
Barhaven's incredible
good
right
news
now with
for
the growth.
Employment and all that.
It really is. So,
all right, my friend, I'll see you around 11:30.
Looking forward to it.
All right, have a good one. Best of luck on the golf course.
We got to win.
Kent Brown, who's in here from Royal LePage every couple of weeks, is also on our team. And some sales guy, I forget his name, John
Rogers.
Yeah, that guy.
He can hit a ball.
He claims to have beat me in a match this weekend. He claims. We'll have a good time raising good money. All right.